one of the things that's used in every programming language to essentially say if a value is true or false. And that is a conditional, or as many know it, an if statement. So an if statement allows you to say if a value is true or if it's false, or if it equals something, then do something, or, which is usually else or else if, do something else. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to perform conditionals in Golang. Let's go ahead and jump in. Let's start off by closing out of this code. That's the code that we were using in the previous video, and it's going to create a new directory called if. Within this if directory, I'm going to create a new file or package called main.go. And I'm going to start typing in package main, and that IntelliSense or that autocomplete, the reason why it does that is because I have the Golang VS Code extension installed. So now let's start typing in FMT. That's the only library that we're going to need here. And as we can see, FMT is not used. That's why you get that error if you try to save. So that's perfectly fine and perfectly normal. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to type in func main, and we're going to build our function. So let's start off with a real straightforward and easy variable. I'm going to literally say 2 is 2. Okay, so now we can start creating our if statements. So let's start if 2 equals 2. We're going to FMT print ln. Yep, it's 2, right? So what happens if it's not 2? Well, we could do an else if or an else or both. Now, the one thing that you do have to remember is don't try to put your else if statement on the bottom, because what's going to happen is you could see an error that it's expecting something else like an else, or it's expecting it to be on the same line. So what I typically do is put it right on the same line, and then we'll do else if 2 equals 3, FMT print ln. It's definitely not 2. Okay, so then we can save that. So now we have an if statement and an else if statement. So it's essentially saying that if 2, aka the variable, if it equals 2, print, yep, it's 2, else if 2 equals 3, print, nope, it's definitely not 2. And then finally, we can do an else. So we can say else, and then say FMT print ln. I have 0 idea what this is. So with that, let's go ahead and open up the terminal, and we'll do go run main.go. So we can see here that it actually prints out, yep, it's 2. And I just maximize this a little bit just in case you're on mobile, so it's easier to see. So now we can say, okay, let's actually change this to 3. So let's try to run this again. And now it's going to print out it's definitely not 2. And then finally, what if we want to change this to 10? Well, if we try to run this, it's going to print out I have 0 idea what this is. So the way a conditional works is it goes through and it iterates essentially, and it says, is it this? Nope. Is it this? Nope. Is it this? Yup. So the first one, we saw that it equaled 2, so it didn't have to go through anything else. But then it had to go through the first if statement, and then it went to the else if statement, and it printed out 3. And then finally, it went to the else statement once we changed the value here in the variable, and it printed out, I have 0 idea what this is. So this is, if statements and conditionals in Go at a very high level. Of course, there's a ton of different things you can do with if statements. Conditionals are great for any need in programming. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you again next time.